Good morning. It's SharRon Jamison, the CEO and founder of the Jamison Group, and I am in Dallas. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning on my way to the airport. But last night we had a great conversation about jealousy, right? And what I have learned and I continue to see in my own life is that people who are jealous are not bad or mean people. Oftentimes people who are jealous are people who feel a sense of deep longing, and they don't feel that they have the ability or the competence or the connections or the cash to be successful. So jealous people are not bad, miserable people. They're not just hating on you. They really are longing for more. They're really longing for opportunities, and they don't feel as if they have the capacity or the ability or the knowledge to move forward. Hey, Shanisha and Eugenia. So we talked about last night what can happen when we start to feel those pangs of jealousy. Believe me, I have felt jealous before, and I hate it. I hate that feeling of jealousy. And I have felt jealous. I have felt jealous of people, hi Yolanda and Jazzy, who were more successful, or people who I thought were prettier or stronger. We all have felt jealous, and we just have to be honest about it. And be honest about the root of it, right? Because when we start feeling jealous, hey Shelly, when we start feeling jealous of other people, it's really an indication of how we feel about ourselves. It's an indication that we don't see our own value, we don't see our own abilities, we don't see our own vibrancy, we don't see our own vitality, we don't see our own uniqueness. And so every time we feel jealous of someone else, it's a way of dishonoring ourselves, is a way of dishonoring our unique combination of skills, talents, abilities, and giftedness that we have been graced with. So I want to just give you a couple of reminders that we talked about yesterday. When you encounter jealousy, because you know what, you may encounter jealousy. It doesn't mean that you are mean or bad or any of the negative attributes you might attach to yourself. But the first thing I want to remind you is that every time you feel jealous, remember that you are just as talented and unique. And we got to remember that, and it's easy to forget. But oftentimes we spend so much energy and effort dissecting someone else's talent that we don't spend time developing our own. Remember, you can't dissect someone else's talent and develop yours at the same time. You only have so much energy. So when we are able to develop our own talent and understand that you might not be graced to deal with what they're dealing with, and maybe you don't want to have to deal with it. Sometimes you never know what a person is dealing with. You see their success, but you don't see the struggle or the sacrifice. And sometimes if you knew what someone had to do to get something or to maintain something, you would not want to do it anyway. Right? So I want you to remember that you are equally as talented and unique, but your talents are experienced and expressed differently, and you have to cultivate and nurture your own gifts and not worry about what someone else is doing, because it's only a distraction and a disruption, and you want to spend that time in developing and cultivating your own talents. The second thing I want to ask you is sometimes you have to ask for help. I think sometimes it's easy to point the finger at people who are successful, but instead of talking about them, ask them to help you. And that means you might have to pay, right? And you might have to pay some money, because let me tell you, every successful person has invested in themselves. They have gone through thousands and thousands of dollars of training, of learning, of cultivating. They have spent hours away from their family. So you know what? They have to be compensated. It's only fair. So just know that you might have to compensate them, right? And if you don't have money, you have other ways to compensate them, because every successful entrepreneur needs help. Maybe you can support them in some way. Maybe you can exchange your services for something that they need. So find ways, be creative, and find ways to support people. Believe me, people need your support. Hey, Lynn and Phoenix, they need your support. So instead of hating, just find out, how can I help them? Because I'm telling you, Many of the opportunities I have gotten in my life when I could not pay for coaching is because I worked at somebody's convention. Maybe I helped them with marketing. I wrote letters. There's so many ways that you can support people that have nothing to do with money, because sometimes people don't need your money. Sometimes people need you to be an ambassador, or they need you to share their posts. Just know that money is not the only way that people need support. Sometimes they might need you just to pray for them. Sometimes they might need you to support them. Maybe sometimes they might need you just to connect them to someone that you know. So don't think about money. Money is just one form of currency. There's so many different ways of currency that people need you. And help them, and guess what? They will help you. So I want to ask you, are there ways to help the people that you feel jealous of? Because one of the ways that you will really solve that jealousy is if you pull back the curtain and see all the things they have to deal with. Believe me, you won't be jealous anymore. So I want you to consider that. And the third thing I want you to consider is to remember that your journey is going to look different. All of us will have customized journeys, and our journeys will always be customized based on our talents, our skills, and our abilities. So even though your journey looks differently, does not mean that you're not moving forward. Your journey is going to be so unique based on the contours and the vicissitudes and the experiences of your life. And so their journey is not even any more valuable than your journey. Your journey might look different. So accept your unique journey and knowing and remember that your journey is going to be customized uniquely for you. You are too special to have someone else's journey. And so I just want you to remember that your journey will look different. Hey, Alex and Rosemary and Sylvia. And the last thing I want to say before I go catch my plane is remember that for you to be successful, which you already are, you build from the inside out. I think sometimes we are always worried about marketing and finances and connections, but we don't build the infrastructure, the internal infrastructure to be successful. What's so important is that nothing will challenge you like entrepreneurship. I got to tell you, nothing will challenge you. Entrepreneurship will make you feel that you are incapable and incompetent. Sometimes it will feel like feel overwhelming. And if you don't have that internal infrastructure, that internal resilience and tenacity and fortitude to deal with all of the challenges and the variables of entrepreneurship, you know what? You're going to fall. And even if you get to a certain level, if you don't develop the internal intestinal fortitude, you're not going to be able to stay at that level. So it's so critical to not think about building on the outside if you haven't built enough on the inside. So the question is, have you built your core to deal with disappointment and disruption and competition and deal with haters and attackers and assassination and isolation and manipulation? Have you built enough internal infrastructure to be happy without money, to be able to deal with sacrifice and struggle? Have you dealt with the infrastructure internally to deal when people will leave you? I cannot tell you how many people have left me on this journey. Friends who got mad and felt that I didn't have time for them. Entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. I want to be honest with you. It is lonely. And sometimes the only people that you have to talk with are you and God. Just you and God, and that's it. Sometimes when people are spending $800 and $900 to go see Beyonce, but won't spend $80 for a program for you, it hurts. And then people many times don't understand that you are spending time away from your families. You're not spending time developing, having fun. Sometimes you're spending time on your knees and in front of the computer, and that's it. You're not at the conferences. You're not at the mall. You don't have to find clothes, because every new dollar you get, you invest right in your business. I'm telling you, every new dollar. People always talk about, SharRon, why do you only wear black pants? Because all my money is back in the Jamison group. And I would not have it any other way. because I feel like if I'm going to invest in anything, the first person I'm going to invest in is in myself. Because guess what? I'm the only person I know. And if I'm going to believe in anybody else without believing myself, I do a disservice to me, but I also do a disservice to God who made me. So I want you to always know that build from the inside in. Hey, Doreen and Stephanie, and build from the inside in so that you can withstand every storm, because the storms are coming. And the storms are spiritual and emotional storms. They are financial storms that if you're not rooted, you will break. So make sure you have the intestinal fortitude so that you can bend, but you don't break, and you keep moving forward. So again, 4 things I want to say again, just a reminder. Jealousy is normal. It's a terrible feeling. I hate when I feel jealous, and I do feel jealous sometimes. I hate it. It makes me feel low. But also I want to let you know that jealousy is human. But when you get jealous, I want you to identify what's going on and ask yourself, are you jealous because you don't feel that you have opportunities or capacity or ability or skill or uniqueness? Identify why you feel jealous. Because if not, the jealous will rot you and it will diminish you. It will erode your strength from the core, and you won't have the power nor the potency to do what you've been called to do. So remember that it's normal, but find out why. And when you find out why you're jealous, I want you to work on that space and develop that space. So that's one thing. 2, remember that you are unique and you have capacity to do your own divine assignment, because our assignments are different. 2 or 3, ask for help, and remember that you might have to be willing to pay for help. Remember, everybody who is successful or high performing, they pay for coaches. And guess what? You can't jump that step. You can't not just not pay for coaches. If you want to be ready for the stage, you have to go through the steps. That means that you have to go through the process. Yes, God gave you a promise, but you have to do the process. And so you might have to pay for help. And if you can't pay for help, find other ways to support people. Because remember, money is only one type of currency. Maybe you can give your time, your talent, maybe a prayer, maybe your trust, maybe you can connect people. There's so many different ways to support people. And when you support people, guess what? They're going to support you. 3, remind yourself that your journey is going to look different. Don't compare your journey. You have a different path. Even if you're going to the same destination, you have a different journey. You are a pioneer. Your journey will look like no other journey. It will be uniquely designed for you. And your journey will be unique because you will be developed along the way. And all of us have different areas that we need to develop. And so our journey is our pathway for development. And so just know that you will be developed. And so honor your own journey and stay so focused on your own Kool-Aid that you're not in somebody else's Kool-Aid, not even knowing the flavor. Stay in your own lane and leverage your lane. And then the last thing, make sure you build from the inside out. Make sure that you build in a way that you have staying power. You just don't want to be successful. You want to be successful and stay successful. You want to be sustainable and scalable. And that's going to require agility, a mental agility. It's going to require emotional flexibility. It's going to require spiritual maturity. It's going to require tenacity and resilience. It's going to require innovation and creativity. It's going to require prayer. And it's going to require some sweat, some hard work. And so I want you to remind yourself that. Don't get jealous. It's just a wasted part of energy. And being jealous does not in any way honor the uniqueness, the beautiful, amazing, capable, talented amalgamation that God made you. You are an amazing combination. So just wanted to share that this morning. Blessings to you. And just know that everybody gets jealous. And it doesn't mean that you're bad. It means that you're a human. But I want you to identify that as soon as you can. Don't let jealousy contaminate you and pollute your gift. Don't let jealousy minimize and marginalize your power. Don't let jealousy erode your core. Don't let jealousy diminish you and dilute who you are. Don't make jealousy make you act a fool and you ruin your reputation. Just know you don't want to ruin your calling or ruin your destiny because you're so jealous that you start acting in ways that don't even honor you. Remember, you don't want to act in ways that minimize or dishonor who you are, because you are too great for that. Yes? So blessings to you always. I hope you have a great, amazing day. I'm so excited to get home. I haven't been home and I don't even know how long I've been home, but I'm so greatly to be home, and I just wanted to leave that message. So don't let jealousy in any way undermine you. You're too grateful. You're too grateful, but you're too graceful, and you're too much of a genius for that. Blessings to you always, and let's dare to soar higher and higher and higher. And if we're not connected, let's get connected in the Dare to Soar Higher Facebook group. If not, let's get connected on my website. I would love to connect with you. I'm going to be changing my business model, and I want to make sure that we're both connected. So blessings to you always. Thanks so much for joining me, Eugenia and Angela and Lucky and Gigi and Alex and Stefan and Lynn. And I just thank you so much for your time. I'm always grateful when you spend time to hear me, because I could never do this work without your support. Yes? So I honestly need you. And so thank you so much for showing up with me and staying with me this morning on this Facebook Live. Thank you so much. I celebrate all of you. Thanks again. Blessings.